How you doing, my friend?
Doing awesome, my brother. How about you?
Yeah, great to see you.
Likewise, man.
Great to see you.
Man,
We haven't seen each other on the screen in a little while, and we haven't seen each other in person in a while. But that's going to be happening in a few weeks.
so
Uh,
true.
Super excited about this retreat we have coming up. Big Glow Retreat, Awakening to Sovereignty, September
Hmm.
17th to 18th, at outside of Black Mountain, North Carolina. You and I've done many events together over the years now, and we've done all over the world. Really, we did a retreat, a week long retreat in Italy together. We've done
Hmm.
retreats in different parts of North Carolina and Florida, and events in Atlanta and other places I'm probably not thinking about at the moment. But this feels like a special one. It feels like a yeah, it feels like there's this calling to bring people together right now,
Yep.
um, and just follow that excitement and bring people into this level of consciousness that is moving through all of us, opening up through all of us.
That's it,
And
man.
what I mean, you first came to a retreat that I was doing. Wow, it must have been like how many years ago? 15
Close to
years ago
12.
or something?
More closer to probably about 12, because I think
12 years
Jonathan's
ago.
1. Yeah, and he's 13 now. So,
Uh huh.
and that was a
So
beautiful, expansive experience, man. I remember I, we were spending time, and I'll just say this real quick, spending time to check in, and something called to me about it. I think you just reached out to me, but when I listened, I was hearing to go. We didn't know how we were going to go. We were having financial challenges, all this different stuff, right? And had the whole family. And I reached out to you to see, hey, could my kids come? Because it was the only way we are going to be able to make it. Man, you were very accommodating. We worked it out, and it was a stretch, but I was hearing that call within to make that stretch and to trust and to put the financial exchange into it. And it was beyond what our budget was telling us, but my guidance was telling me this is important and to trust. So I took that leap of faith, put that investment in, and man, was it worth it. The return was amazing. Got a chance to meet you, of course, met Ash too, and so many other wonderful people who've become friends and family. The connection, and then the presence we cultivated was
mhm.
very a pivotal moment for me to have a nice shift during that. So it was beautiful, man. And you introduced me through that to retreats and to
Mhm.
this whole format. So I'm forever grateful for that, man. It's been an awesome journey.
Yeah, so you first came as an attendee at that time, and things have evolved, and now co-facilitating, co-creating
Yep.
together. Annie's a
Yeah,
part
man.
of it now. Kathy's a part of it now, and yeah,
Yes.
the sense of community I think is really a key component. It's kind of like a pop-up community. There's so many people interested in different kinds of eco village and community and
Yes.
conscious community and all these phrases we hear these days, and it's like a chance to be really living as community
That's it.
together. And
Yeah.
there is something like kind of exponentially more powerful about being together in a field of presence
Indeed.
together than there is being alone. And then I think the second component, when we think community, we think of being with other human beings, which is certainly part of community, but also being in that natural environment, getting away from
Yes.
your normal routine in the city and getting out into nature and being with those rhythms of nature. I think there's something really healing and expansive and rejuvenating for us in that
Totally
process as
agree.
well.
Yeah, there's a wonderful insight about focus, right? When you think about oneness and that everything we have access to, but where we focus, that's where the amplification usually occurs, right? If we have everything to choose from, what are you choosing? And we choose to come together, focus in nature, and be connected with that. We're amplifying that consciousness and feeling that consciousness. I actually shared something this weekend about, or actually it was in July, end of July, about nature and the journey had over the last 2 years with the elements that you're familiar with as well, and all the lessons I've been learning from that, and then to be immersed in nature with others in community, just something powerful. And each time we've had a big glow retreat, in the North or Asheville area, North Carolina, in the mountains in there. Had some powerful experiences, man, connecting with the energies that are there. Some of our toning events, our yoga, all those different cool experiences, man, and just very memorable. The laughs, the what I'm saying, cracking up
Yeah,
with
we have fun.
those.
I think there's people think of something spiritual. They think it's got to be this really serious thing, and you got to have a
Yeah,
straight face, and you got to be, pious. And I think that, yeah, that we have fun. We laugh. We sing. We dance. It's all
yeah.
optional. You don't have to laugh if you don't want to. You don't have to sing or
That's
dance
right.
if you don't want to.
We may
But
cry too. Don't get me
we may
wrong.
cry for sure. We may
Yes,
cry for sure. Yeah.
yes.
Which I think that's a key component. Like, it's really about being authentic, being
That's it.
yourself, being authentic to the moment, and having a safe, supportive space to do that. And I think that's what creates so many powerful breakthroughs for so many people that
That's
we've
it.
witnessed over the years. These healings, these transformations. Is the phrase that I get, that I hear people out, is like, I feel like I can really be myself here. And I've never really felt
Mm,
that way before.
love that. Yeah,
And
that
so,
totally makes sense. And I love the word retreat, and it also feels like more of a oh well, we call it an awakening to sovereignty, so that's a very fitting description for this one. It really does feel like an awakening to that possibility and that birthright of sovereignty, that birthright of being able to cultivate a new way of being. It's like you and I have talked many times about the visions we have for community and for being able to live in a certain way with others. This to me, as you've often mentioned, is like the practice of it, the
yeah,
embodiment of it, right,
yeah,
in a smaller sense. And
yeah,
then the hope is to expand that for those who are drawn to awakening like this. And I think it would be like almost like a community practice in that all the different things we'll be doing require that presence that you teach
yeah,
about,
yeah,
requ- require that what I call alignment to
yeah,
really get the full benefit that you have the ability to get out of it, right? So it is also what you make it, but at the same time, it's just this amplified opportunity from the activities like just I'm gonna look them up real quick because I can't remember everything we're offering. Yoga, the discussion circles, breath work, jam sessions, musical performances, toning, meditation, contact dance, ecstatic dance, nature walks, channeling, intuitive readings, experiential exercises, setting intentions, visioning, and so much more. The different workshops we'll be offering. I just feel like doing that in community, there is something so unique about it, especially the way I've seen you set it up and facilitate it with the Bigelow retreats and all. Just something so beautiful about it. And I love all types of retreats. This one has a uniqueness to it that I love and honor to be a part of once again. So, yeah, I think it's going to be, just powerful for those who are called to it. And the whole one other thing I want to talk about sovereignty. That's
yep,
come up a lot.
yep.
It means many things to different people.
Hmm.
And for me, I feel like the awakening to sovereignty is almost like that independent journey and collective, meaning independent for you. What are you to awaken to when it comes to sovereignty for the individual? Like when you go within and ask that question. So giving people the tools to really hear that on the one hand, and then from the collective sharing what we're hearing and coming together to awaken that sovereignty is the other side of it, where I think there's some common things where many of us will gravitate to the sovereignty of creating community, the sovereignty of creating this collective sharing, in the physical world, not just, what I'm saying, not just in philosophy or ideal, but in practice and in physical creation. So those are the other parts. I'm intrigued and excited to see what manifests from it. And the connections as well, I think it's important to say many of us who come together here have gone on to do things together in Bigelow. Obviously, you and I, Kathy and Annie, have continued to do things, but others as well outside of just us. So I love that opportunity as well. Just the family that is created through this. Many of the big glowers have toured the world with us, going to Peru, going to Jamaica, wherever, just different places. So I think that's the connections we'll make are important. And who knows what's going to unfold even beyond this, you know? So
Hmm.
this is the planting ground, the connection zone, if you will. I think something big will continue to unfold from here.
Well said. Yeah, I mean, there's a community that's growing around us. It's a beautiful community. Yeah, so many friendships, so many creative projects, relationships of various kinds have been formed through this community and continues to grow and flower and blossom and bloom.
Totally.
Yeah, the sovereignty is interesting. I've been told from Kathy and others that there's some people have some misunderstandings of what we mean by sovereignty and have their own different ideas about it. But it does
Yeah.
feel like it's a different chapter because we've talked so much about community, and now it's like, oh, they're talking about sovereignty, which seems like it's the opposite of community, but I think it's actually the foundation of
Bingo.
true community,
That's so true,
right?
bro. Yeah.
And I think I heard you talk about sovereignty on the you made a little video with Kathy. And I thought it was beautiful the way you articulated, totally aligned with what you shared. It's really about, I think, this next chapter of the evolution of consciousness for humanity is about just really stepping into our own empowerment,
Yes.
and not looking for anything, anyone outside to do it for us, to complete us, to
Hmm.
um, but to realize that we're fully inwardly sourced. It's all inside us. God is fully inside us. We have access to all the powers of the universe inside us. We have access to all the guidance in the universe and truths inside us.
That's it.
Um, you were talking about, I mean, I think I feel like, or maybe I was just because I know you so I was intuiting it, but you're talking about like channeling and making the connection that's that deepest form of sovereignty. It's like I'm able
Yeah.
to listen and I'm able to channel that source consciousness from within myself. I'm putting up here, but I could be putting here to the heart
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
And you know, when you have a place that people are on that same path and we have that same intention, it's hard because in our world, our society, we're being directed away from that so often by so many different sources. And
Yeah.
so to be in a space where we're being supported to tune into that, you know,
Hmm.
um, there's something really powerful that emerges from that space. And then
So
from
agree.
there, we can have this true sense of community where it's not a codependent thing, you know.
Bingo.
Yeah, it's a thing that's really creative and vibrant and dynamic and liberated.
It's so funny how the there's something called law of choices. The quality of your thinking informs the quality of your experience. So as we're cultivating that empowerment, our experience becomes empowered, right? As we're cultivating ideas of separation and lack, our experience becomes amplifying separation and lack, right? So case in point, when it comes to coming together with others, if we feel like we need something, we lack something, and they're gonna have something that I don't have in a sense of lack, then you create these experiences that amplify that. If you're coming together to say, hey, I have something to contribute, as do they, and together we can create even more, it's just a different vibration and a different quality, right? So that empowerment, I think, is so um, just on a vibrational level and a quality of our thinking level from the law of choices perspective is so important. It's foundational as we do that work to eliminate those blocks and those misperceptions of unwholeness, those ideas of uh, you know separation and fear and all of that stuff. As we're releasing that, I think it creates a more hmm, harmonious experience when we're co-creating and when we're being with each other. And that's what this gives us an opportunity to do in the littlest ways sometimes, right? You get to be together with others and begin to see those things that arise and then cultivate choosing differently, that higher level of thought, that higher quality thinking. right? Through that alignment, through those practices, whether it's yoga, whether it's the breath work, those things that help expand our awareness to access the higher level consciousness, the higher quality thinking. So that's a beautiful part of this, that I love when it comes to sovereignty. And then the second part, I got to share something with you, my brother.
Yeah, please
Um,
do.
so I'm back in college, finishing my senior year, 30 years later. All right. It's exciting because I tuned in and heard to go back and wasn't sure why, but I've learned to trust it and just follow through. Wasn't even sure how, and everything is falling into place. And there were some ups and downs, and it all worked out great, right? A lot of beautiful lessons. And so, doing this, one of my classes is leadership. No, give me a second. The Morehouse Experience. So I'm at Morehouse College. If anybody um, is is unfamiliar, it's
Are
where
you doing it online or in person?
online. So
Mhm.
the online program allows me to be at the retreat.
Yeah.
um, so the Morehouse Experience, I believe, is the class we shared. Ralph Waldo Emerson's Self Reliance. If you're unfamiliar with that, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to share the part. There were so many parts that stuck out to me. But there's one part in it that speaks to what we're talking about. It's at the beginning. So I'll just read this first part. There's probably like 10 paragraphs. So I'm going to just read this first paragraph so you can get a feel of what it's saying. Starts off with a poem. Man is his own star, and the soul that can render an honest and a perfect man commands all light, all influence, all fate. Nothing to him falls early or too late. Our acts, our angels are, or good or ill, our fatal shadows that walk by us still. That's an epilogue from Beaumont and Fletcher's Honest Man's Fortune, right? Starts off with that. And then there's another short. Cast the bantling on the rocks, suckle him with the she wolf teat. Wintered with the hawk and fox, power and speed be hands and feet. Bantling is like an infant. So that part isn't what resonated with me. This part did. I read the other day some verses written by an eminent painter, which were original and not conventional. The soul always hears an admonition in such lines. Let the subject be what it may. The sentiment they instill is of more value than any thought they may contain. To believe our own thought, to believe that what is true for you in private heart is true for all men, that is genius. Speak your latent conviction, and it shall be the universal sense. For the inmost in due time becomes the outmost. And our first thought is rendered back to us by the trumpets of the last judgment. Familiar as the voice of the mind is to each, the highest merit we ascribe to Moses, Plato, and Milton is that they set at naught books and traditions and spoke not what men, but what they thought. A man should learn to detect and watch the gleam of light which flashes across his mind from within, more than the luster of the firmaments of bards and sages. Yet he dismisses without notice his thought because it is his. In every work of genius, we recognize majesty. Great works of art have no more affecting lesson for us than this. They teach us to abide by our spontaneous impression with good humored inflexibility than most when the whole cry of voices is on the other side. Else, tomorrow a stranger will say with masterly good sense precisely what we have thought and felt all the time, and we shall be forced to take with some shame our own opinion from another. So, man, I didn't even know Emerson was on this tip, right? But it was like so much of what I've heard and understood that often that flash of genius we all have, that bright light from within we all have, and it's just remembering how to tap into it because we've been so conditioned to dismiss our own genius. So part of the sovereignty, awakening the sovereignty, is recognizing that we all have that. We just have to undo the limited, conditioned ways of thinking that we've been engaging in that have talked us out of trusting and listening to that wonderful beam of light, right? So that's the I heard this poem and I was just like, or this essay. I was like, man, Emerson was on it, bruh. I had no idea. And I've heard things from Emerson and others from that time. I think they were called the Transcendentalists or what have you. But it just, it's all tied together. I feel like many of us now are really ready to tune into that real power, that real genius that guides us to do what only we're here to do. And that's all this is about, coming together and doing it collectively, awakening collectively. One last quote, Howard Thurman, who was a big uh, one of the leaders of Morehouse back in the day, one of the teachers. He I think he might have been in MLK's day too, but anyway, he taught what the world needs now is for us to find what brings us alive, truly brings us alive, right? Has us coming alive. That's what the world needs now. It's the same thing that when I tune into that same beam of light, I hear what the world needs most from me is my example of limitless love and light. What brings me most alive is listening to that intelligence that only I can tune into for myself, right? I can hear it and resonate with it with others, but for me to cultivate that trust, for me to cultivate that listening and empower myself, that's what we're here to support others doing, right? And be examples of. And that to me is the greatest self awakening. And it yields all sorts of amazing things when we're doing that and coming together. Watch out. So that's what this is all about.
Well said by you. Well said by Mr. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Thank you
Right?
for sharing that. It reminds me too. I think we did another theme we had past was awakening to genius. I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's like a different gateway into the same
That's right.
underlying truth.
Awaken to genius is the first step. Then the sovereignty is actually trusting and following it, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it,
And then
man.
the
We'll
paradox
take it
is
to the next
it all
level.
leads to the unity consciousness.
That's it.
That's the beautiful thing about it.
That is
Yeah.
exactly it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to just touch on a couple things.
Perfect.
One is people could hear all the things that we're doing and they may feel like overwhelmed, like, oh my God, how am I going to do all these things? Feel like kind of stressed or something. And just want to clarify, those who've been there know this, but those who haven't been there don't
Mm,
know this, that this is not a place to get stressed out about trying to do everything. All these offerings are optional for you. You follow your own pace. There's plenty of space on the property to have solitary time if you need it, and to it's really practicing everything John's talking about to be able to access what's true for you in the moment and follow that guidance in the moment. So we 100% support you in doing that, and that's what it's all about. So
yeah.
no reason to feel overwhelmed or you have to do everything, or it's, none of those things are necessary. These are just offerings for you to plug into if it feels good for you.
That's right.
And the other thing I wanted to make sure we talk about is that John is, for those who don't know, those who've been to retreats know, but he's an incredible musical artist. And I would say his music, his recorded music is really amazing, beautiful stuff. And I would say his live music at a retreat is like a whole other level, even
Mm,
beyond
mm,
that, because there's an energy vibration in the space that gets built, and we really create
mm,
this kind of co-creative energy, and he just kind of opens himself up to the moment so wants
mm.
to come through, and what comes through is really powerful, and it's something that even when we've even to try to get it on video, you can't really capture the energy in the space. It's just
Right.
it's a powerful energy in the space. So
Mm,
he'll be doing one full concert Saturday night, and then some music with us with the breath work that we do, that which is a really powerful synergy that
Yeah,
we do
love that,
together
man.
as well. So so that's something to really look forward to. That you know, there's no other way to experience it except to experience it. So I really invite people
Yeah,
who haven't experienced it yet or who have experienced it in another form, another location, to really be with us this
indeed,
weekend to
man.
experience what comes through
Yes, and
in
I
the
love
space.
some of my favorite experiences with you have been during the sat songs you lead and the
Mm,
just the wonderful presence and inquiry that's created and that
yeah,
just mind shifting. I love those moments where the mind's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, right.
yeah,
Had so many of those in our circles together. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I think people will appreciate who haven't experienced that. Um, just that energy that it's something potent and even it's almost like the collective intelligence begins to play.
that's it.
You
That's
know?
that's the whole intention. I'm glad you said
Yeah.
that. You know, because people are into like, what's the schedule, and you know, we do have a schedule, and we'll share a schedule, but really, it's really about being open to the moment together and
Yeah.
being in the present moment together. And neither you nor I know exactly what's going to come through us until it until
That's
it comes
right.
through,
That's so right, man.
and that's where the magic and the miracles happen
That's it, brother. That's
together.
it. That's it. That's the sovereignty at play, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Love it, man.
yeah. Yeah, and we do have a lot of new people registered for the retreat. So exciting to have some people
Hmm.
who haven't experienced our retreats together come through. There's still space for you who are listening to register if you haven't yet. Feel free to just reach out to me if you have questions, additional questions. I'm happy even to just hop on the phone with people for a few minutes and talk with them and get a further sense of what we're doing. Um,
Beautiful.
but yeah, super excited to share this journey. It's like it is like a journey, right?
Yes, it
Share this
is,
journey
beloved.
together with those, and it's always like the people who feel called to be there, right? So
Mm,
if you're listening to this and you feel that calling, then you just you say yes to it and you figure out the how. Second,
that's
like
right.
John was saying with his experience, his first
Mhm.
experience. And I always feel like the people who are there are exactly the people who are supposed to be there, right? That's always kind of our
That's it.
feeling.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's always a beautiful, beautiful experience too, man.
yeah.
So I can't wait to see what this one. I have a feeling it's well. Okay. One last thing, that double portal that opened during the 8/8 Lionsgate got a
Uh-huh.
download that it was a time to really step through for many of us. And we've had other portals like that open and the energy that came through. And a lot of people the last couple of weeks have been experiencing these challenges with the um, blocks, the opportunities, and the lessons. And for those who are leaning into their sovereignty, it's actually empowering them. Like it feels like, oh my God, I feel like I'm taking steps back. Like my Facebook got, for example, hacked and all my 5,000 friends and connections gone and my Instagram gone, right? And it's like, feels like, boom, our accounts got hacked, bank got hacked, all this stuff started happening to empower, not to harm or to set back, but to go deep within and reset. And I think a lot of people may be going through something similar. And that's where this is an important time to come together. So you recognize that, A, you're not alone. You don't even have to have this journey alone, but you have the power. And to see it in others who are harnessing it, that sovereignty, it can be a great reminder for you to step into your own power and come together and do it together. So this isn't like a, hey, we're here to help you. No, we're just here to remind you, to demonstrate and remind you of your own power if you are going through that energy and that time and looking for others who are empowered through it, so they can lock, stop, hold your hands and walk with you during it. So just speaking to those who may be resonating with that energy as well, this is definitely for you. If you tune in and hear that, yes, trust it, do what you got to do, and we will be hand in hand enjoying it together.
Beautiful. Yeah, children are welcome. There's some people haven't been clear about that. So children are welcome to, families are welcome to be with us. And we do, this is a special retreat where we have it's a weekend retreat, so it's Saturday and Sunday, but we have an offering on Friday night and Monday night as well.
Mm,
So if
that's right.
people who are around or available, you get some bonus time to connect as well.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
The pre and after party.
The the afterglow and the
Pre-glow, that's right.
pre-glow. Yeah.
That's right.
The pre-glow and the afterglow.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Anything else you want to share with
Now
the
that's it,
world?
man. That's it. All the other information is on the website.
Hmm.
Just to give you an
It's a
idea.
beautiful website, so I invite people to check it out. John worked on it pretty hard, and it's a beautiful site. And you'll see a lot of photos, videos in there from previous retreats we did together as well. So it's a nice
That's right.
sense of the timeline that we've been on.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
forward to it, brother.
So the website has more information. Like I said, feel free to reach out to me as well personally, and we're really looking forward to this is the first retreat we've done, or I guess any event we've done in person since January 1st, 2020,
Yes,
which
yes,
was an
yes.
amazing event for those who were there. We had like 100 people for this New Year's Eve event.
Yeah,
Uh,
100, close to 150 actually,
was it
man.
okay? Like
Yeah,
we had
it was
like
awesome,
150
man.
people. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a really special thing. We've manifested some amazing things, and I think what we'd like to do is just support others to kind of with like the principles and strategies and technologies that we become aware of to manifest what's the deepest sense of meaning in your life and purpose and inspiration,
Yes.
and create that and co-create that with us as
Yes.
well. Yeah.
Exactly. I love it, my brother. I think you summed it up
Summed
perfectly.
it up. Well, I love you, appreciate you, and
Love you,
it's
man.
just a joy to be sharing this journey with you and Kathy both, and
Likewise,
co-creating
brother.
together.
Likewise.
It's a delight, and
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
it's
Thank you for initiating it for all those years back together. And we've got to continue all this time, man.
yeah, yeah,
Yes, indeed.
yeah, and it's beautiful to see like you said, kind of all the lives that we've touched like so far, who are now like a part of. They're our friends, they're our community,
Exactly.
and that we're co-creating this universe together.
That's it, man.
And whoever's feeling that tap, feeling that yes, having them join us feels really good.
Hmm. Amen to that.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for being here, and we'll give you some additional information. Feel free to reach out, and wishing you a beautiful now.
See you soon.